A lot to talk about today. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing that I quickly want to highlight is the 20-year Treasury has officially hit highs of 5%. For those that do not know, the reason that this is such a concern is that, remember, the U.S. needs to refinance its debt. It wants to refinance at lower rates. As long as these continue to increase, the bond market, the 10-year, the 20-year, and the 30-year, this will make it incredibly expensive for people like you and I and the US to borrow money. The only way that this thing can really begin to go down is if the Federal Reserve begins to slash and cut interest rates. But even with comments that were made today, Fed Chair Powell, even after the PPI report, it's time to rethink the 2% target as core PPI post drops, biggest drop since 2020. Policy framework is under review. So it seemed good, but still, according to the Fed Rate Monitor tool, there's a 96% probability that the Federal Reserve is going to pause. I'm just making sure that you are kept up to date with what exactly is going on. Well, what is the PPI report? PPI report was released this morning, and it pretty much showed that overall PPI actually came in lower than what was expected, 2.4% versus 2.5%. Core PPI came in as expected, 3.1 to 3.1. However, there was a revision that actually happened for last month, which was March PPI inflation report. It was previously 3.3%. It was revised to 4%. I really hope that we don't have to continue to go back and forth and have to revise the months prior, just like the Biden administration. But nonetheless, I wanted to make sure that I kept you guys up to date. The thing that I quickly want to also make sure that you are aware is supposedly Coinbase is a victim of a cyber attack. There is a $20 million Bitcoin ransom that is currently being asked of Coinbase if they don't want their information leaked. Name, addresses, phone numbers, emails, masked social security numbers, last four digits, bank account numbers, government IDs, account data, and limited corporate data. So what impeccable timing right after Coinbase gets added to the S&P 500 for them to get hacked and then to show the uncertainty of, again, it's the crypto space, right? So obviously that's going to be a big focus for those specific type of people. But nonetheless, getting hacked, information getting leaked, it's not a good look for Coinbase. Obviously, it's not like their fault, I want to say. I mean, kind of. I guess they could have had better security, but nonetheless, they're being targeted, and it's having a negative impact on the company. I just wanted to make sure that I did my part in keeping you guys up to date. One of the stocks that we were trading today during today's live trading session with my LPP team was Nvidia. Nvidia did a really good job and is still doing a good job testing previous resistance range. Markets were selling off. Now, all of a sudden, they began to recover. So again, quite interesting here, but now we're coming back up to retest previous highs. I'm thinking about opening up a short position, but I'm just going to wait for more confirmation for this thing to get rejected. I'm up about $3,800 on Nvidia alone, and my position right now is fully closed. So again, very excited to see if we do get confirmation of this thing breaking below. I'll open up short. If it breaks above, I will consider going long, but I really don't want to go long, and let me explain why. I think markets are incredibly overbought. It's just my opinion. Please, if you want to buy, buy. I'm not here to convince you. You guys know that I'll never be here to encourage you to do something that you don't want to. But they're so inflated for what? Based off of hope that Trump actually gets things done. That's all. There's actually no fundamental reason on why markets are recovering. If you look at every economic report, everything that focuses on consumer, when it comes down to credit card debt, we're at one of the highest levels that we've been since 2009 or 11, if I'm not mistaken. If we look at everything that's going on with, again, the Treasury market, things that don't actually get affected or influenced by a silly tweet that Trump says, oh, it's a good time to buy. Treasury bond market doesn't care about Trump's tweets. It cares about actual results. And guess what? Things are not looking good. It needs to drop. And if it doesn't, then Trump is going to be in a lot of trouble, right? Because they need to refinance their debt. So because of that, I think this will become a more pressing issue in the days that follow. Trump will more openly begin to voice his uncertainty about Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve and how desperate he is to start cutting interest rates. Again, I think we'll go back to the name calling. I think we'll go back to pointing the finger. Nonetheless, because of that and how inflated markets are, I see there to be a lot of pullback potential. And that's just my 2 cents. So in today's live trading session, again, my big focus was shorting, but also taking profits where I saw signs of a support beginning to present itself. Again, I trade live every single morning, especially if you're a complete beginner and you learn best by watching other people do. Click that second link in the description down below and you can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. But I'm very excited to keep you guys up to date. I mean, there's a handful of very shitty companies that are beginning to finally sell off. TEM, lower highs, lower lows. HIMS, lower highs, lower lows. MSTR, lower highs, lower lows. And if you look at it on the larger time frame, these things are screaming overbought with huge pullback potential, huge pullback potential, huge pullback potential. Again, it's always the most overvalued and overhyped up companies that during a downturn experience the biggest fall. Again, this is not to discourage you that you need to sell. I don't care what it is that you do, right? But my job is to make you aware of the risk. Things are obviously presenting themselves where they are overvalued within a short period of time and possibly due for a correction. You do with that information as you please. If you want to buy more, be my guest. If you want to reduce your position size, then great, right? You don't need to short to make money in this market, but also you don't need a bag full of stock that you know eventually will come crashing down. So I wish you guys nothing but the best. Hope that earned a thumbs up. Hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. And that's that second link in the description down below. Remember, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and it's a huge discount right now. So we'll see you then. Take care, team.